Hello and welcome to Tokyo Games match preview of Aston Villa against West Ham United. Gonzo, would you like to kick us off with your thoughts on Villa, please?
Yeah, doing really, really well. Looks like they're going to get through, not in the elite top qualifiers in the Champions League, but it looks like they're going to get through in their group, if I've got that right. Where
They've
they've
got
not
a good, they've got a really good chance. They're just outside it at the minute, one game to play, but they're at home to Celtic.
Yes,
So
yeah,
they've got a really good chance of going through in the top part, which means they avoid the playoffs.
yes, absolutely. And as I understand it, the playoffs, like the best in the playoffs, plays the worst, and they sort of incrementally face off against each other. So they're looking pretty good, not to be cast down into the doldrums, which I think is a miraculous really for them this season. Did really well last season. Clearly a club with a strong identity who are going places. Obviously, we've discussed them very, very recently because we just played them in the cup. But what Unai Emery is doing is fantastic. Very much the figurehead of the club as well. You don't really get the impression they're not behind him. They seem to do everything that he wants to do. Real good direction, real purpose, real sort of clarity of vision from everyone at the club, and they are a club going places. And I've got to say, I've never thought for one moment this season, even when they've been out of the European spots, that they wouldn't get European football again this season. They've got a manager there who is so well tuned to the gearing of European football, and then the domestic game. We worked with Sevilla was just outstanding. That it's just a guy that knows how to do this stuff, and you do not want to play them in Europe. You do not. I don't want to particularly play them in the Premier League, truth be known. But
Wait.
Yeah, there you go. You do not. Yeah, well, he knows cup competitions. This guy, he is so good. I'd say he is an expert at it. Up there with the very, very best, and doing it with far less budget before than he's now got at Aston Villa, where he's able to get really good players and bring together a really good squad. I'm hugely impressed, and I just think they'll carry on having success under this manager.
A club that stinks of confidence, of one that is assured, and they've got a little bit of the Brighton and Brentford for me, which is when they go after a player I've never heard of, which they have done in the January transfer window. When it's, let's just say it was, I don't know, Fulham, for example, I would take it with a pinch of salt. Say, all right, I'll watch him for the remainder of the season and I will evaluate. But my opinion of him would be none. It wouldn't exist. Now, obviously, my opinion of these players, likes of Aston Villa buy at the minute, are still none because I've never seen them play. However, because it's Aston Villa buying them, I think good player. I've never seen them play, and I'm thinking I just assume they're a good player because Villa are the ones that's gone in there and got them. And I like what they've done in the window in regards to the outgoings. Have been quite ruthless. Carlos was cost them 35 million. He's come in. He was all right. He played well against the big clubs, but I think he was poor against the lesser clubs in the Premier League, which was perhaps a bit strange. But they've gone, right, let's cut our losses, get rid of him. He's had injuries as well, and we're going to bring someone else in. I thought it was quite a ruthless thing. But there doesn't appear to be this whimpering about it at West Ham. And I'm not discussing Aston Villa fans. Villa fans would be well within the right. Say, hang on a minute, what a waste of money that was, right? I'm in regards to Aston Villa Football Club. It's not, oh, well, who signed him? You've made a mistake there, haven't you? There's no hyper analysis of what's gone wrong with that signing. It's just gone, right, it's gone wrong. Let's get rid of him, get the next guy in. And it's just like, it feels like there's just this ultimate backing of Emery, this ultimate backing of their recruitment team and what they're going to do. And it's a case of, if we make mistakes, we draw a line under it, we forget it, and we move on to the next guy, rather than, and yes, this is West Ham influence. This part is why I'm saying this. There's no pointing of the fingers going, well, who was it then? Hey, come on, own up. Who's made a fault here? Because you're not going to be involved. We're going to change everything. There's a cohesion at Aston Villa right now. Yeah. And, Philogene Bedance is another one. They brought him back because they could, and brought him back in. Gave him a few months under Emery. I assume Emery's decided not up to it. He's not good enough yet for Champions League football at Aston Villa. Right, okay, let's offload him. And they made a nice, tidy profit on him as well. He went to Villa and flopped, and then they made money on him when he went to Ipswich Town. Fantastically well-run club. and you get the feeling that they're going to be in those European spots. We're in January, and I know I'm speaking for you here. Quite confident Aston Villa will be in and around the European spots next season. Never mind this season. I don't know what they're going to do in the summer, but I'm quite confident whatever they do, it will be geared to making them a better club ahead of next season. In regards to this one, though, Gonzo, they're sitting 8th at the minute in the Premier League. Which competition do you think they will be qualifying for next season? Champions League again?
Quite possibly. I would not rule Aston Villa out winning the Champions League. I really and anyone that dismisses them, are they favourites? No. If I would they be my favourites to win it? No. But anyone that totally and utterly dismisses their chances of winning the Champions League has not been paying attention. They've won the competition back when it was the proper competition anyway, of course, when it was the European Cup. They have every possibility, particularly if we got 5 spaces for next season. I think they have a level of, it's a bit tortoise and hare if you want. I don't have a level of consistency about them whereby there may be other teams that flatter to deceive and at points can look brilliant. Chelsea would be an excellent case in that, who, at one point can look like they might challenge for the league title and then they can just drop off and you actually then in a cold light of day think, actually, no, they can't. So I think there will be many teams who do this type of thing. But it's tortoise and the hare, and Villa keep plodding, keep plodding, it's like the mummy in Scooby Doo, and it just keeps on. They keep on coming, and they'll get there. Well, actually, they won't. Scooby Doo run away at the end, but they'll get there in the end, right? And I think they will. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It won't be Conference League. It will be Europos, Cupos, or Champions League, certainly.
Someone's missing out, and it's difficult to call at this stage because I think we can all agree that Liverpool and Arsenal will be in the top 4. Yes. And then you've got Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Man City. So you've got 4 teams going into 3 spaces. And I'm already excluding Chelsea here. I'm already thinking maybe not, but you could put Chelsea in that little bracket as well. And I appreciate, I'm not being snidey towards Bournemouth, by the way. They've got every chance of making it as well. Yeah. They're sitting 4th in the Premier League at the minute, so they're having a fantastic season. But the point is, there's more good teams than there is spots available for the Champions League next season. I think we've all possibly been a bit guilty of waiting for Nottingham Forest to drop off, or they've had a great run, but they're going to, well, not really. You get to this point of the season, it's game on, and they're showing ambition in the transfer window. So it's going to be difficult for them. I think they might miss out on top 5. I think they might finish 6 or 7. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to put my finger on it. I don't feel they are as slick as last season. I think last season I was incredibly impressed by them, and I enjoyed watching them and tactically how Emery was setting up his team every week. But this season, I just don't feel as on it, and I don't know why. I don't know how to put my finger on it. I think it's maybe the attacking midfielders part of the team. I think they've got 2 really good strikers there, although Watkins hasn't been scoring as much as he was last season. But, McGinn's been injured. Tielemann's been one of the better players, but he's perhaps not the most creative. Bailey isn't as good as he was last season. So I don't know if they're maybe just lacking something in that area of the pitch. But there's something saying to me they're just not quite as good as that. Still a bloody good team.
I think they'll finish above Newcastle if that matter. And I think that might make the difference.
Ooh, well, I think Newcastle will finish above Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think it's so. We digress slightly. I've watched a bit of Newcastle recently. I think they're so reliant on Guimaraes, who's. I think he's been outstanding recently, but I think I think he struggles for a whole season and that stuff. And I think I think they spread the load a little bit more, Villa. But it's an interesting conversation. 2 very good teams, obviously.
A conversation for once the transfer window's closed and we need to do content to fill up the spaces because West Ham don't have a 4th round game in the FA Cup.
Or any new players, but yeah, absolutely.
But right, players you admire before you give me an answer. Got a nice little statistic for West Ham fans to throw in, not a nice one for Aston Villa fans, but the last 5 games post Champions League, Villa have failed to win. So they've now played 7. So we are the 7th fixture after Champions League. So the first one they beat Wolves, and then they've gone 5 games. So the following Premier League game, following the Champions League one, they failed to win it. So Listen, I'm scraping the barrel, but I'll take any sort of positivity going into this one. And I just want to point in direction of this video sponsor, Surfshark. Right, it's January transfer window, which means you can get yourself a bloody good deal as well. And you can make a purchase to improve what you've got. Surfshark is a VPN, which helps protect all your devices, all of them. You sign up once, you protect your phone, you protect your laptop, you protect your computer, your 3 iPads. If you've got 3 iPads, unlimited devices are covered under one account with Surfshark. Now, we've got a bit of an offer for you. 4 months free. 4 months free, and it's probably cheaper than you think. If you were to come up with a price as to how much you think it is in your head right now, it's cheaper. Less than £2 per month. You can get a VPN for links in the description below, or go to surfshark.com/HammersChat. Give it a try. One of the features that I like, my favorite feature about it, is you can change your geolocation on your device, so your device will think you are somewhere else. So if you were to go to Spain, you thought, hang on a minute, West Ham are live on TV on Sunday afternoon against Aston Villa. I need to change my location back to UK so I can access my Sky Go as usual, and I can watch my usual content. Click, 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 done. A couple of clicks. It is really simple to do as well. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you get it, you don't like it, after 4 weeks, click, click, click. And it is simple. I've tried it. We always try these things before we promote it on Hammers Chat. So when I was looking over the benefits of Surfshark, I'm going to go test this. Let's see how easy this money-back guarantee is. So signed up with Mrs. Geo. Details, and a couple of days later I thought, right, let's get my money back. It took me about 30 seconds, didn't have to speak to anyone, money was back in account immediately. So
sounds like Mrs. Geo needs a VPN to stop you from prowling around on her phone, quite frankly.
Well, she doesn't, because unlimited devices under one account. I've took advantage. Right then, links in the description below. Gonzo, place your mouth.
You mentioned Tillemans earlier. I think he's been looking good recently. I like him, and he looks like the geezer from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Guy that runs the chicken place. Anyway, anyway, not that's got anything to do with anything, but I like them both equally. They've just got some bloody good players. I like Mings has come back. He was away for a long time, I think, wasn't he, Mings? I like Anana. I believe he's not available for this one, which is really good because when Ross Barkley got injured in the last game, Anana came on and they were loads better. So I'm quite pleased about that as well. Really like Morgan Rogers. I don't know why I'm shaking my head when I'm saying it. It's with regret. I just get annoyed that we miss out on a lot of these players, really. And I think, bearing in mind what they did is remarkable. Bearing in mind they lost the midfielder, the former Manchester City midfielder, who was brilliant for them. And what's his name? Douglas Luiz.
Yes.
They lost him, and honestly, they're brilliant. They got loads of players. I tell you, was brilliant against us. Matty Cash against us that day, annoyingly good actually some of the time. So, yeah, lots of good players.
I think he's one of their weaker spots, to be fair.
Really?
If I was looking at that Villa team as a neutral, obviously I'm thinking right backs where they could do with investing substantially, because when he's not available, they play Conson. I don't think he's as good at right back. That's an experiment. I think they should stop. I think Luke Dean's been very underrated as a left back in the Premier League. They signed Maatsen for 35 million. I thought that was a fantastic signing, but he can't get in the team, and on merit too, because Dean's been superb. Morgan Rogers, I completely agree with you. I think you can forgive your own club for missing out on players coming from abroad. That's a scouting thing. That's we weren't aware. Scouts, maybe we were a little bit uncertain and whatever. There's various different reasons. I think you can give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to signing players from the Championship, it's almost like there's no excuses here. No. Were we not aware? Why weren't we in? And he probably would have chose Aston Villa over us at the time anyway. But it's not really the point. The point is we weren't even in for him. So what was it? Do we think he's not good enough? So we made an error of judgment there? Were we just not aware of him? Were we focusing on trying to buy wonder kids from Brazil and we forgot about the guy in the Championship? What was it? So I completely agree with your frustration. And then, of course, we've got two top strikers with Duran and Watkins. Listen, I already know what's happening on Sunday. The script is already written for Jean Duran. It was written at the London Stadium and it happened. And I think, I think David Sullivan has written the script again, possibly for this weekend. Anyway, shall we move on to our team?
Yeah.
We're going to start with some team news. Now, we're recording this prior to Graham Potter's press conference, but that should be an interesting one because there's quite a lot of team news to give. You might know a bit more, so I'll do what I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. So Jarrod Bowen's back on the grass, but I think this game will be too soon.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Or Jarrod Bowen, you like that phrase, don't you?
I love that phrase, and it's honestly, it's amazing how the club just put it there, and they just picture Bowen back on the grass, and if you've got a mischievous mind, you'd be expecting to fail a drugs test soon.
I watched the League of Their Own this week, and Danny Dyer was the guest.
Yeah.
And they said about the song West Ham fans sing. And I can't remember exactly what Danny Dyer said. He basically said, I have a problem with it. He said, to be fair, Bowen put himself on me, I'd tongue him.
Fucking hell. Oh, I'm sorry.
So he's like, I tongue him myself. And he said, look, I actually feel sorry for my other daughter. He said, because there's literally no one she can bring home. That's just good.
And there's no song. His other daughter's not got a song. Oh.
So it's just like, he said, I've got West Ham's captain that scored a winning goal in the European final as a son-in-law. So my other daughter, she can't match that. There's literally nothing.
She could meet a Hollywood person or something that maybe Danny knows.
But anyway, good little program for those that haven't seen it this week. Tadebo's still out injured for this game. Summerville is expected to be back, and so you can include him for your team, Gonzo. No Konstantinos Mavropanos, he is suspended after booting Mateta on the face rather than a yellow card. And of course, we've got no Fulkrug, Antonio, or a new signing for this one either. Right then, Gonzo, the starting 11 that you would like to see, goalkeeper and defence, please.
Well, I'm sure it's the only. Yeah, I'm sure it's the same outfield players as everybody else. It's pretty much all we've got. I'm gonna have one last chance with Areola before anything else. Give him one more go. Got to try and find something to work in goal. What do we do? Keep swapping him around till someone has a really good game? Maybe I don't know. I just want to try something different. Clean sheet. Where's his time? Might be there. I mean, whose name escapes me. Played really well for the under-21s last week. The goalkeeper, Hink. I don't know. His name escapes me, but he was good. I wouldn't put him in there. I'm just saying. I've got me casting my suspicious eye over the goalkeepers at the moment. I'll put Areola in there, and I'm going to play a back three of Wan-Bissaka, Caelan Casey, and Max Kilman.
Big call for Casey, but it kind of has to be, doesn't it?
He don't play. No, he don't play.
Yeah, what's the alternative? Alvarez? I don't want to see that. No. I completely agree, by the way. I would go Areola. Listen, I'll be honest with you. In terms of goalkeeper, I don't care. I don't like. Do I want the guy that's too slow off his line and is letting a few easy goals and conceded penalties? Or do I want the guy that can't kick to save his life and also can't come for crosses? It's not the best selection of goalkeeper. Honestly, Areola cannot kick to his left. Kicking to his right, he's okay. But when he's got to go left towards Emerson, he just cannot do it. I don't know what it is. There's something about it. I get nervous when I see Areola have to play it that way because it's going out for a throw in.
It's a bit like saying, do you want gonorrhea or syphilis? Neither, thank you.
So I've been proper flip-flopping with the goalkeepers. I would go for Areola, but the truth is I'm not that bothered. And, for a couple of weeks now, but every week that goes by, I get more convinced we need a new goalkeeper in the summer. I was already, convinced a month or two ago. Since then, I'm even more convinced that a goalkeeper needs to be on the list. Now, we don't need one in January transfer window. It's something that can wait till the summer. But because I think this is pre-season time, part of me thinks, well, Potter's got to decide which one he wants around next season. Does he want Areola around, or does he want to give Fabianski a one-year contract extension, sell Areola? Which one is it? Go with that goalkeeper. Whatever one you think will be here, go with that one and start to see what you've got to work with. The back three, I completely agree with. Wan-Bissaka, I've already decided I'm going to much prefer him as a right centre back rather than right wing back. I don't like him in that right wing back role. Put him in the back three. He's good at it. Kilman and Casey has to be, like you said, don't play now. You're not going to play. Big opportunity. Scarles has had his shot. Orford's had an appearance. Put Casey in there now. he will struggle. He's going to be up against one of the best strikers in the Premier League. He's going to get subbed off, and one of the best strikers in the Premier League is going to come on to replace him. But I'll tell you what, you'll learn a hell of a lot more at Villa Park for 90 minutes than you will in training for 9 months.
Yeah.
So let's put him in. Kilman next to him, maybe not so much Wan-Bissaka because he switches off himself, but Kilman, he's got a quiet leader next to him. It should help him, and I think he's going to have experienced players in front of him too. So it's got to be Casey. Right wing back, left wing back, central midfield. What are you fancying?
Okay, so I will only because I've seen Potter do it once, and it was the best we played under Potter was like the first half against Aston Villa. Funnily enough, so I'll play Summerville, whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to call it a right wing back, then that's fine. I'll play him there. The midfield three, if you want, will be Alvarez, Souček, and Soler. With the left wing back will be Ollie Scarles. We were incredible. We looked old and we looked slow against Crystal Palace. And it's not the first time we've looked old and slow, by the way. We really need an injection of youth. It's not just about pace. We do need pace. We really do. And obviously Summerville will bring that pace as well. It's also energy. Energy's a big one. There's some people who don't move at a breakneck speed, but they have an intention and they get, they don't sit back. They run and Scarles is like that. Scarles he's direct as well. So it was really evident that the energy levels were better when he was on the pitch as well. So look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Ollie Scarles is a better player than Emerson, but he would certainly bring more energy, and we need that. We really, really do. And I think, it's not ideal what's happening in the centre of defence. Ideally, Casey would come in under other circumstances. When the defence had more confidence, with a confident goalkeeper behind them, and all the rest of it. And that's not, I'm not really talking about him with the energy, but if you could bring Sullivan,
Don't bring him on. That guy's not even got energy when it comes to negotiations.
It's
don't want to see him on
bones.
the pitch.
Him and Souček up front as a double. What's it? Anyway, Summerville, not Sullivan, will obviously bring that energy. I think Scarles will as well. So So to recap, Summerville, Alvarez, Souček, Soler, Scarles.
We might have the same people, slightly different formation in midfield. I would continue with the box midfield of 2 sitting and 2 attacking. And my 2 sitting is the same as yours, Alvarez and Souček in there, and then Summerville on the right and Scarles on the left. And the reason for Scarles over Emerson is desire for me. I think I'm looking at the team now, and there's been a couple of games now, and this is under Potter as well as under Lopetegui, where I think, come on, let's just... As fans, we're allowed to think the season's over, but you're not allowed to. You've still got to turn up every week and earn your wages and stuff. And I think that's fine. As fans, we're allowed to say season's over. As fans, we're allowed to say, we're going to get beat on Saturday. But the players aren't allowed to say and think that. It's completely different things here. And with Emerson, and he's not the only one, I just feel like it's a little bit timid. It's a little bit lackluster at the minute with Scarles. But also the biggest reason for putting Scarles in, he showed us a couple of weeks ago, he can do it.
Yeah.
Villa Park, Bailey, Cash, I'm fine. I'm okay. I was man of the match against these 2 players. So put him in. We know he can do it in this actual fixture. So that's the biggest reason for Scarles. But also because I thought we were really lacking in... Well, we have been. I agree with what you said. The best we played under Potter was 2 periods for me. 45 minutes against Aston Villa. And then between the 25th and half-time whistle against Fulham as well. I thought we were good then as well. But in the last 2 games, we've had 9 shots combined. Not per game, in total. 9 shots. So we need to really have something going forward that we've not had. And I think pace on the wings with Summerville and Scarles will give us that. It takes the pressure off Alvarez and Souček. They don't necessarily have to get forward. Their job would be to protect that back 3 when they do go. It means that if Summerville goes and Wan-Bissaka goes with him, we've got that protection for what is now a back 2. We can remove Alvarez and Souček's requirements to be involved in the attacking part of the game. That would be beneficial. And I think the way to do that is by having Scarles and Summerville on the wings. That leaves you with 2 players. So I'm assuming you're going for 2 makeshift strikers here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't got a clue where they'd play, really, to be fair. I was just picking players. Yeah, obviously could do some Paqueta.
All right, Lopetegui.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Just do what's best for the club. Yeah, what else can you do? I've got the tactical brain of Lopetegui. I'd just go out there and do your stuff. That'd be one of those team talks. I think they've already heard my talk of the big man little man partnership of Sullivan and Souček up front, and they've decided not to pay any more attention to what I'm saying. Yeah, do whatever they've got to do. We don't have a focal point to our attack, so do we want to try and make someone be a focal point, or just sort of not have one and let them do something sneaky? I think I preferred Kudus, funny enough, in that inside right position.
Yeah.
I know Fulkrug. I know we had Fulkrug then. I understand that. All right. And that's possibly smarter minds than me may possibly tell me that that's what made it work. I don't particularly like him as the centre forward, but we have had some time on the training pitch now. There is going to be a benefit to that. This would have been his biggest stint, and he'll certainly be armed with a lot more knowledge now. Yeah, that's got to be the team, mate.
Yeah, matching 11s. I've gone with Kudus up front. Now, I agree. I think he looked best away to Villa in that little role. And I do think Fulkrug was a big part of that, and certainly part of the goal. But I thought he looked good. Fulkrug went off injured in like the 15th minute. I thought Kudus continued to look good for the duration of the first half. He stopped looking good when Summerville went off, not when Fulkrug went off. So I think there's maybe that element. But the reason I would put Kudus up front for this one is to have Solar in there so that Paqueta is in the role he was at Villa Park, because I thought he really looked after all his scars. And I'm sure Solar would as well, but I don't know. I know Paqueta looked after scars. So for that reason, I'd have him where he was when we played Aston Villa. So we've got matching 11 Gonzo, not often, but just a slight variation in how to go about the midfield.
It helps when you don't have 25 players to pick from, because then we can come up with the same team. But I think I don't want to see Rodriguez. I think let me just say this: one of the most depressing things about the loss against Aston Villa was that we looked worse when Rodriguez went off.
Crystal Palace.
Sorry, what did I just say?
You said Villa.
Yeah, Crystal Palace. That was terrible. I thought, is it that bad that actually we've got all these defensive-minded players on the pitch, and we take one of them? We should have enough defensive players for two teams in that game, and we take one of them off, who's not all that anyway. Let's be fair, he's not great. And I thought, oh man, so we need something. But I do think a lot of our stuff against Crystal Palace was that we didn't offer any threat to them, so they felt empowered to keep coming at us. And I think it's a lot easier then. It just puts so much pressure on. So yeah, would things have been a little bit easier if we kept Rodriguez? And yeah, maybe we could have carried on adding defensive players if we want. You can stick a load of defenders at the back, but I just think because we offer nothing in attack, they get further and further forward and just keep on pressing their advantage. So yeah, I don't think we've got any attacking player that we've got. Well, actually, I know it's Ings. I'm not talking about that. And you can make excuses. Oven-ready first-team players, they've got to play.
Simple as that. Right. Can we have 90 pence from you watching at home? Can we have 90p a week, please? If the answer is yeah, go on then. Sign up to our Patreon, patreon.com/HammersChat, where there's more videos. There's loads of content over there. We've got our giveaways over there. We've got our prediction competition over there. You get online store discount at hammerschatstore.com. That includes everything at the store, by the way. Signed stuff, cleaving stuff, normal stuff. Jimmy Walker book, which is signed. Jimmy Walker book's 20 quid, unsigned. Signed at hammerschatstore.com. Still 20 quid. But if you're an addict, use your discount. You will save, quick maths, £6 on that. So it'll be 14 quid. So instead of £20 for an unsigned copy, it's £14 for a signed copy. I've got more. That's not the only one. There's plenty more. If you're unsure, if you're thinking, I'm not sure about this one, gentlemen, that's all right. We've got free trials for you. You go over there, sign up. You get a week's worth of Hammer Chat Patreon, and you don't pay a penny. Then at the end of it, you can decide whether you want to stick around or you want to bail. But hopefully in that week, We'll produce the content. You'll watch it and think, this is all right, actually. And we've even got a podcast which has got nothing to do with football. And in this week's episode, we're discussing Severance. And I'm having a complaint about baby clothes. I told you it's not about football. It's life. Anything goes in that podcast. But it's something that's really, really irritated me in the last couple of weeks. Right, Gonzo. Patreon.com/hamchat. Links in description below. Are you feeling fruity? We've changed it now. It used to be optimistic or confident. I always had to flick between the two depending on who we're playing. If we're playing like Southampton, so you're confident. We're playing Man City, so you're optimistic. Are you feeling fruity?
Not particularly, I have to say. No, not particularly. I think I have. It's not Graham Potter's fault. Let's just say that. I do feel worn down by the season, and I feel what little effervescence I had in me has been.
You're lacking a new signing. I think if there's a new
that's
signing,
it's been blown away by the transfer window. That's exactly.
I think if there was a new signing, you'd have your pecker up for this one, regardless of who it was, because you think, oh, hello, this is something.
Yeah.
Signings bring excitement usually.
Yeah. I would be using the multicoloured pen. Instead, it's just a standard blue biro that's getting used on my notes at the moment. I think even if we'd when's this video going up?
About Friday 4 p.m.
What day is it today? Friday, isn't it? Yeah.
We're recording this. We're ready to record the podcast.
They would do the live podcast, which we do fully
and then
closed.
I will edit this video and upload this video. So give me a little bit of time.
Okay, so bear in mind, I'm talking. It's time travel going on here, boys and girls. I'm talking 2 hours ago. Amazing, right? If we signed Brian Bobby, Robbie.
Yardaway needs to be registered by 12 o'clock in order to play.
Actually, it's not that good a time travel, is it? Let's say we were recording this 6 hours ago, right? And that had happened. If they're watching this in Australia, they won't even get it for another week. Anyway, I would be optimistic. I do agree with that. A signing coming in would definitely a good signing coming in would definitely lift my expectation levels. Villa are very good. Very good. We have. I see. He's written it down. I'm not playing tricks on you. I've got it in my mind. So if you've read my mind like you did last week, then you've done well here. Villa are very, very good. We have, as you said, whatever your stat was. What I know is 3 shots on target in the last 2 games, which is awful. I understand why, and I understand the reasoning why. I don't need anyone to tell me, well, hold on, Potter had no one to choose from. I get it. We do have a chance if he does pick an attacking team, and he's worked well as attacking team as he can, and he's worked well. I understand that Villa, after the Champions League, have not done so well. I heard what you said earlier on. Absolutely, I've taken that into account.
Can I just add, they have played Bournemouth, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man United. They haven't played Southampton or Leicester in those 5 games.
Thank you. Yeah, that's only going to feed into what I'm about to say, which is obviously on your post-it. Is that a genuine post-it note or a fake one?
Genuine, look.
Oh, fair enough. The defense is going to be a bit of an issue because obviously we've got some real problems there. We don't have centre forwards. We'll do well if this happens. We'll have done well. It's 2-1 Aston Villa.
Ooh, I put 2-0.
Okay,
2-0. That's my score prediction. 2-0 Villa. I've not seen much attacking threat from us. The Summerville thing's important because at the minute we don't know if Summerville's fit. There's an expectancy he's back for this game, and that will really give me a boost. Not quite a new signing boost, but it will give me, because we went to Villa Park a couple of weeks ago in the FA Cup and we looked good and we were good value for our lead. And it went wrong when Folkswood went off, and it got even more wrong when Summerville went off. But it was just, the Summerville one in particular, one sub, and our team went from good to bad, like just like that.
Yeah.
He's had a bit of time in training ground now, which, when he first came in, he took over on the Wednesday, training on the Thursday or whatever, and then Friday we're playing Aston Villa. 3 games in 8 days. He's not had loads of time, but now he's got 8 days, since we played Crystal Palace before the Villa one. So he's finally got time with these players. So if Casey has to play, my expectancy is he's as ready as can be. He's been training with the first team all season, Casey. So it's not like he's been hauled under the 21s. Since August, he's been training with Kilman. He's been training with, I always say Fulkrug. No, he did it. He got about a week's training with Niklas Fulkrug. But I was trying to say there's good strikers testing him in training. There hasn't been. Antonio was around a little bit, and then he was out injured, and then Ings has been there, and Fulkrug's not been there. But Casey's been in and around the first team. Scales have been in and around the first team. I'm thinking our preparation will be good, but I just think Aston Villa are a bloody good team, and we've been struggling creating chances, been struggling scoring chances. If we had Bowen available, then my prediction would be different, but I don't think he will be, and I don't want him rushed back. I think we need to just take our time with him, and if it means not like throwing a game as such, but if it means that you go into the Villa one weaker than it possibly could be, because you could have an 80% Bowen, I'd rather just give him that week off and make sure he's near 100% fit when we get him back, so that he's here for the remainder of the season. I don't want to. He's the one player whose fitness I don't want to gamble on. Now, usually he's fine. He's got a really good injury record. But you never know. Look, if Summerville's starting and Bowen's on the bench on Sunday, I'm thinking, hello, we've got a chance of coming away with a win here. Never mind a point. I'm feeling okay ahead of the game, although I think we'll lose. I'm feeling okay. Looking forward to it to some extent, actually. Anyway, any final words, Gonzo, or shall we leave it there?
No, I think that's about it. That's about it, mate.
Right then, thank you very much for joining us. If you've enjoyed this preview, please do drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up. Sky News Hammers Chat. And if you fancy joining us over on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Hammers Chat, where I'll be taking a look and guess at what Aston Villa will be doing on Sunday. I got 10 out of 11 against Crystal Palace, and I got a full house against Fulham. I want a full house again. Catch you in a bit.